Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Moran, author of a superhero trilogy called Believers. We will be reading from book 2 today. I'll share my screen so you know what's going on. All right, so we are in chapter 6, Sweet and Sour. Is this the ice cream guy? Blake asked enthusiastically. Yep, his name is Mr. Cream, Jerry replied. I love the name. Can he make any ice cream I want? Yep, and he does it with style. What? That's awesome. I want Rocky Road double fudge ice cream right now. Mr. Cream does an exaggerated bow, like an entertainer, and says, right away, sir. Let the show begin. Mr. Cream takes himself very seriously, waving his arms around in showboat fashion, summoning sparkling fudge cream in waves to produce the perfect ice cream treat for Blake. Vaughn watched with intrigue, never thinking that superpowers could be used for non-heroic matters. He wondered how many other believers existed in the world and what variety of powers they possessed. He also thought about Leah, a 12-year-old girl with powers, and how her life might be affected by having powers. He found more information about Leah, but he wanted to wait for the right opportunity to tell Jerry. While enjoying ice cream, Blake began asking questions. Are we just collecting any new believers we find? That's the plan, Jerry replied. How many do you think there are? I don't know. There could be 5, 20, 100, 1,000, or more. The FBI is working with Dr. Diaz and Cynthia now to figure out an estimate, as well as find easier ways to locate new believers. That's so cool. I hope they find a believer who can make wishes like a genie. Can you do that, Jerry? I'm not doing that, Blake. Why not, bro? What happened to expanding your horizons and trying new powers? You're the first believer and the best, right? I bet you can do anything. Jerry stayed quiet, but Vaughn could hear his thoughts loud and clear. Jerry worries about his powers being abused or used for the wrong reasons. He also gets scared of trying new things because people can get hurt. Jerry's powers are immeasurable and limitless as far as he knows, and now they are spreading to random people, which has Jerry greatly concerned. To distract Blake, Vaughn yelled out, Yo, Blake, let's go train with Megafist. I bet we can take him down, Blake excitedly replied. Heck yeah, let's do it. Megafist has been training with the FBI, learning discipline and how to improve his power. He confidently walked into the middle of the training room, ready to fight. Blake and Vaughn felt confident too, because Jerry had previously given them information about Megafist and his powers. Blake wore his NFL football jersey, padding and helmet for protection, and to show off his new job. Vaughn wore his police uniform and agreed to not use weapons. Megafist wore his usual orange and brown construction worker outfit with steel-toed boots and a yellow hard hat. As the training match began, Laserpoint and the FBI agents watched with intrigue while collecting and analyzing battle data. Jerry watched as well, wondering who would win. Vaughn put his hands up like a boxer, waiting for Megafist to come at him, but Blake had a different strategy. Blake charged full speed at Megafist. Vaughn yelled, What are you doing, Blake? That wasn't the plan. Megafist shook both of his hands, and they instantly doubled in size. They each looked like bowling balls. Then he clapped his hands together and formed a giant fist, almost the size of a wrecking ball. Blake charged with his whole body, hoping to flatten Megafist and pound him on the ground. Unfortunately, Megafist swung his wrecking ball fist and hit a home run, sending Blake flying. Blake landed flat on his back, 30 feet away, thanking God that he wore his football pads, or else he would have had broken bones for sure. Blake yelled out, Watch out, Vaughn! That guy hits like a truck. Megafist grinned and walked over to Vaughn, feeling cocky and calling Vaughn out. What can you do, little man? I'll crush you. Vaughn grinned in return and said, You'll find out soon enough. Megafist put up his bowling ball fists and started swinging for the fences. His swings were very powerful, but slow, and Vaughn easily dodged every attack. Vaughn counterattacked every time with jabs and body shots, slowly weakening Megafist. Vaughn's punches were quick and calculated, always hitting the ribs and other vulnerable areas. Megafist could not land a hit on Vaughn, and it was frustrated. Vaughn was silent during the fight, listening to all of Megafist's thoughts. Every time Megafist thought of throwing a punch, Vaughn would prepare to dodge and counter it. Vaughn's strategy was mostly defensive and annoying, but not enough to win. However, it gave Blake enough time to recover and prepare to charge Megafist again. As a last-ditch effort and distraction, Vaughn dove at Megafist's legs and held on for dear life, yelling all kinds of taunts and nonsense. Megafist put his hands together, forming a giant wrecker ball fist, and brought it down hard on Vaughn's back. At the same time, however, Blake charged head-on and hit Megafist with his full power. Megafist fell to the floor in pain, and both Blake and Vaughn pounced on him and punched him a few times until he called for mercy and forfeited the match. Blake and Vaughn high-fived each other, celebrating their victory. Megafist laid on the floor and complained, I only lost because there were two of you. Suddenly, Agent X exclaimed, We've got a new believer. We need you now, Jerry. Agent X opened a live video stream on his computer screen and showed everyone. It was a man shooting streams of acid from his hands, melting cars and buildings. He was also attacking people on the streets. Jerry wanted to get there as fast as possible and asked, Where is this happening? St. Louis, Missouri, Agent X responded. That's so far away. How am I supposed to get there? You can teleport to the location. I'm sending the exact location to your cell phone now. You can track it with a GPS. But I've never gone that far before. Jerry, you can do anything you believe in, right? Time to surpass your limits and see how far you can really go. Jerry looked at everyone, and they nodded in support. They seemed to truly believe in him, or they realized he's the only one who can help. Agent X looked at the other believers and made a quick assessment. Megafist, Blake, and Vaughn were tired from their fight, but Laserpoint was fresh and ready to go. Agent X told Laserpoint to go with Jerry as backup. Jerry put his hand on Laserpoint's shoulder, took a few deep breaths, and started thinking of how to get there. He couldn't visualize the location because he's never been there before, but maybe all he needed was numbers. He began thinking about the number of miles and imagining a straight line, traveling the exact number of miles. A few seconds later, Jerry and Laserpoint disappeared. They reappeared next to a highway in the middle of nowhere with lots of trees and cars. Jerry looked at his phone GPS and realized he was close to Orlando. He tried teleporting again and appeared with Laserpoint in Georgia. A few more times and poof, they finally reached St. Louis and Jerry was ecstatic. Laserpoint, however, showed no expression at all. He was silent and focused on the mission. They looked around and heard screams and gunshots nearby. They ran toward the noises and saw policemen firing bullets at a man who was running and jumping through buildings. The man was shooting acid and melting through anything in his path, desperately trying to escape the cops. Laserpoint ran up to the cops and showed his FBI badge, asking them to stand by while Jerry tried handling the situation. Laserpoint also asked the cops a few questions and got into a sniping position, preparing to fire his laser. The cops explained that the criminal calls himself Acid Man and began hurting people when he discovered his own superpowers. Meanwhile, Jerry made a quick phone call to Dr. Diaz. Doc, there's a bad guy shooting acid. How do I stop acid? Your metal armor won't work because he can melt through it. So your best bet is to stop the acid with water. How do I do that? Jerry asked frantically. Use your believer powers, Jerry. Think of a water gun or fire hose. Thanks, Doc. Jerry put his phone away and began concentrating. At the same time, Laserpoint had a brilliant idea. It was too dangerous to shoot his laser at Acid Man. Laserpoint might accidentally hurt civilians or kill the criminal. Instead, Laserpoint began firing his laser in front, behind, and around the criminal. Laserpoint was making sure to keep Acid Man within a limited area so he would not escape. Jerry finished concentrating and achieved a new transformation. He looked like a futuristic firefighter, wearing a red hazard suit with 2 yellow water tanks on his back and gray fire hoses spiraling up his arms and hands. He also had rocket boosters on his feet for flight. He leaped into the air and charged full speed into Acid Man. The criminal fired streams of acid and Jerry blasted water in return, creating a vibrant splash and mist that covered the surrounding area. Laserpoint and the cops stopped firing their weapons and watched the blurry figures battling it out inside the mist. Every punch created an explosion, followed by random civilians disappearing and reappearing next to the cops. Jerry was fighting Acid Man head on, all while teleporting innocent victims out of harm's way. Acid Man, you gotta stop. People are going to get hurt. Why should I care? People bullied me my whole life. Nobody cared about me. Nobody tried to save me. Now it's their turn to suffer, Acid Man retorted. Maybe other people hurt you before, and that sucks. But these people didn't do anything to you. You can't hurt them for other people's mistakes. People don't hurt you by accident. It's all on purpose. People bullied me because it was fun. So now I'm paying them all back. Everyone will suffer by my hand. I'll melt them all. Acid Man screamed maniacally, causing Jerry to have a horrific flashback. Jerry was painfully reminded of Kevin Baker burning down the city and everyone he loved. In his own mind, Jerry watched Kevin launch a bolt of energy at a car full of civilians, causing it to explode and kill everyone inside. While Jerry was distracted, Acid Man jumped out of a window. He landed on the sidewalk and began running toward a crowd of people. They were nearby, watching the fight and not expecting to become a part of it. Laserpoint and the cops could not fire their weapons because they might accidentally harm civilians. Acid Man had glowing green orbs of acid in his hands, ready to disintegrate the crowd. I hope you're all ready to die, Acid Man exclaimed as he shot his arms forward to unleash his attack. Jerry teleported in front of Acid Man just in time and created an explosion of water that launched him into the air. Instinctively, Laserpoint and the cops all fired their weapons at the vulnerable criminal. Jerry screamed desperately to stop the flurry of projectiles, but Acid Man took it all and landed on the sidewalk, not moving a muscle. Jerry rushed over to the criminal, but it was too late. Acid Man was dead. Jerry had a wave of emotions flood his mind, and he wanted to yell at everyone who shot Acid Man. But he knew it was no use. Nothing could bring him back now. Laserpoint spent the rest of the day dealing with police, FBI, and news reporters. Jerry sat on the sidelines, watching everything unfold and resting from his ordeal. He was physically and mentally exhausted. The day's events weighed heavily on his mind. A few hours later, everything was settled, and Jerry needed a break. He looked at his cell phone, concentrated briefly, and teleported to the people he trusted most. That's it. We finished chapter 6. Hope you all liked it, and I hope to see you all next time for chapter 7. Thank you all very much.